Alright, well, for the sake of actually playing Magic, it has been exactly 3 hours. I have to actually play the game. Okay, so the new Final Fantasy set came out, and I spent exactly 3 hours going through all of the cards. Again, I kind of just put myself in the dark before it comes out. It's how I function. So I spent 3 hours looking at every card in the new set, more particularly the legendaries. Tifa is what I'm going to start with. There's multiple cards of each character in this set, so Tifa has like 2 or 3 cards or whatever. I didn't even know Tifa was a monk. I don't know much about Final Fantasy, but I sure know Tifa as a character for a bunch of different reasons I cannot get into legally. Tifa is pretty cool. It's not as exciting as Bristly Bill, I'd say, but you can one-shot your opponent. So I'm going to try that. And in order to do that, to get a bunch of landfall triggers to make Tifa massive, is Explore, Rampant Growth, Fetch Lands, all kinds of things. Yeah, it's, the Italian Parliament is kind of what, in my understanding of Tifa as a character. Mana dorks are not as essential here, but they still feel okay. I'm running a bunch of protection spells, basically everything. There's probably more. It's hard. Like putting equipment or even auras on Tifa is nice. Actually, you know what? Because I said the word aura, I do think we don't need to give her trample because she already has trample. But there is the oak spaghetti noodles, ancestral mask. If I go crazy in that, what is it called? It's called oak. Yeah, oak form. Oh no, it's not called oak form. Shoot. What is it called? Blanchwood. Blanchwood armor. Huge. So that's a big one. Almost forgot about that one. So yeah, we try to play as many lands in one turn as possible. This is a bit difficult, I would say. Honestly, I probably have to play Azusa, and the additional lands a turn kinds of cards feel awkward. So that would be the pain point of this strategy. Stuff like Giant Growth, and then you play a land, gives oh wow, okay, I have to reassess things here. It's really cool to play a commander that can play Giant Growth. That is true. Groundswell is another interesting one. Okay. Giving this pre-combat buffs before you play a land is actually reasonable. Maybe Heroic Intervention's not as exciting now. Although I like all of the protection spells. It could be very difficult to crew the World Wagon. It could be very difficult, because I can't crew it with my commander. But if I ever do crew it with Tifa, it gets very scary, because they both swing at the same time. You get another landfall trigger, sort of just like Primeval Titan. Springheart is not really doing that much. It's not copying much. It can copy Topiary Stomper, though. That's alright. After a little bit more finagling around, I think this actually is a Giant Growth worthy commander, which is extremely uncommon, but yeah. Alright, Final Fantasy, send it. Don't you do it. Oh, opponent did it. Looks like I have to relaunch the game too. It's kind of lagging. So I can get play that, play this. It does stack it in the right order. Do I sack this land? I think I do push genuine damage here. I do push in, because there's a chance I sack this on my opponent's turn. Oh, this is a great idea. Oh, nice Field of Ruin. I can't wait for you to never be able to get rid of it. Oh, man. Okay. Fun is almost dead. Fun is actually almost dead here. They animate a land. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Okay, so it was the right thing to do what I did. Get wrecked. Get schmeeded. Okay, I didn't expect this to really be... I don't know why it's so... It's funny because after 3 hours of looking at cards, I didn't expect the first thing I did in the first game to just completely annihilate my opponent. Alright, so I'm really hopeful I draw a land. Okay, every opponent and their mother has the 1 mana dork. Okay, we definitely play our commander here. I think it's always played on turn 2. I have a pretty good follow-up. Playing Bristly Bill is probably scarier than my commander, but we'll see. We will see. Chat, do I have lethal next turn? I literally have lethal next turn. I can scape shift and kill my opponent next turn if they only play their commander. Okay, 15 swing. No way. I have lethal through a 15 on turn 4. No way. Oh my goodness. What have we done? Bro, I put this deck together in 2 seconds. So we get 4 lands, 3 fetch instantly. I don't have to, they don't need to be untapped. And then I have 7. So I have 7 landfall triggers, 7 counters with Bristly Bill. Opponent. This might be one of the games I don't play Tifa on turn 2, actually. No, I most assuredly do. We're not a hardened scales deck, and that definitely is a weakness. We can give ourselves that, but that's not very, like, just doesn't function too well in my opinion. Wow. Alright. You think we're too fast for scales? Well, it doesn't look like it right now. I can't cast and also equip this, so... Pretty tragic. I feel like I'm not winning this. Upfront damage is not as exciting. Oh, right. Tumblewag. We don't have Tumblewag in our deck. Could probably think about that. Again, we don't care about counters, though. I have to play this. There's no not playing this, so... I could lose here. Right here on the spot. This is probably the most important turn cycle. Tumblewag's too slow, maybe. Could be better as an equipment. I mean, if you have a fight, just cast it. Not a fight. Not a fight. Land. Land. Move. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I could have played the land first. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, 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 no. We could be swinging for like 100. It's still lethal. Okay, never mind. It's still like super, super lethal. Never mind. Okay. It didn't matter. We actually had the chance to swing for like 100 instead. We could have swung for like 104. I feel like there's not a lot of thinking to do with your bristly bill mulligans, but okay. We take those. It does stack these right, thankfully. I'll have to manually do it myself. The fact that we're swinging on turn 3 for 10 almost every game is kind of nuts. What does this do? Counter on this creature. Okay, so they probably put the counters on that to make the thing and not Bristly Bill. But they don't have any green mana. Blanchwood Armor into I think... Wait a minute. Blanchwood Armor into Fetchland is lethal. Wow, it's another opponent that doesn't even swing! They don't even swing for 4. They just... Hydra is probably better than my commander. Tifa is incredibly good so far. Incredibly good. If your opponent doesn't respect it, they sort of just lose. We play around Wash Away this way as well. I don't know what this is doing. It's odd. It's very strange, actually. I don't understand this card. Don't get the idea. So, I don't lose the game if I lose my commander. I will play this. Alright, worked out. I am not going to crack the fetch land. I don't think 2 more damage has any merit, so... Phyrexian Obliterator. Alright, with Trample it's only 5 permanents, but I am interested in one-shotting my opponent, so I don't really care about Obliterator. Also, this is a Codas player just playing Phyrexian Obliterator for some reason. Let's play this. Play that. And pass. This is a Codas player with Obliterator in their deck. This is a quadruple black card. Alright. This is also very strange. I don't know what's going on here. Very strange. Very, very strange. Alright. So this should be lethal. This should be lethal. I do have Veil of Summer, which means this is actually uncounterable. Hilarious. I In all fairness, my opponent didn't really have anything they could steal if Codas was actually the game plan. I have no idea why my opponent's playing Phyrexian Obliterator. That is definitely strange. Also, I tapped this so I could leave up a green for this card here. Or I guess technically this as well, right? So that would make a lot of sense if they had a counterspell. Alright, let's do some math. There's no 1/1 counter, so everything just gets doubled 4 times. No, everything gets doubled 7 times. Because I've not played a new Capenna basic fetch. So 7. 8 is 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. This is the same math as last time. 512, 1024. So 1024 of the Hydra, and Tifa is 2 steps behind. So doot. It's 1,204. 256. Okay, so we're swinging for over 1,000. Huh? What? I don't know what that means. Minecraft math. What makes it specifically Minecraft? It's just math, isn't it? Am confused. Also, this is Coma, which I haven't seen in the command zone in a bajillion zillion years. You have Wash Away? You do! Looks like we lose. Cool. I love losing to a 1-mana card. Alright, it's not Wash Away, but it might as well be Wash Away. Basically the same exact thing. I could put this here and then, like, cat this token, but that doesn't seem like a good idea. In my opinion, so... They use all the wild cards they have in the mana base. Alright. Very well. Looks like another counter spell. Kind of tragic. No Cavernous Souls or anything. Wow, my opponent figured out how to leave up blue mana. No way. Can you believe it, chat? Can you believe it? I am definitely not going to kill them with this 4/4. So I guess we just lose to counterspell, counterspell. No Cavernous Souls. Don't really get that, but okay. Technically, I can still win. Not very likely. Blanchwood Armor on the commander, but I don't have mana to cast these, so... Cast this. Still don't have the mana for that. We should put this here, actually, to bait my opponent in sacking the 3/3 right now. I think that's quite crucial. And I can fly for 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can fly for 9. Not lethal. So we just fly for 7 instead. Fly for 7 instead. Oh, excuse me, it's 10. Chad, am I dumb? Am I so dumb? Why did I think that was 9? Why did I think that was 9? Alright, they got 1 reach creature, which doesn't matter. Oh no, they got 2 reach creatures. Kinda tragic. This doesn't have trample. Yeah, that's a bit worse. They can't crack the fetch land, doesn't matter. I think I still win from here. Yeah, we still win if they have nothing, which, as it stands, it looks like they don't have anything, so I think we win. Oh, they double their stats on my turn, too, as well. I said two as well, as if those are different words. So, Blanchwood Armor. I mean, I'm all in. They can tap the 10-10, so it's not reliable. I mean, if the Explosive Veggies resolves, we just win the game. We win. I think we win. No, we don't win. Too many stats. The doubler on my opponent's turn is too much. It's too much. Does that matter? No, not really. They can only block with one creature? It has more text on it. I would not have seen that. I would not have seen that. We did win. We did win. Oh my goodness. I thought they could mass block. I just played it for the hexproof. I was gonna swing anyways to make them show me, but wow. We did it. We actually did it. Awesome. Oh no, my opponent's dumbfounded. Don't worry, chat. Don't worry, opponent. I didn't know either. I did not know either. I was about to not see it. They're going out in their own terms. Go on, sack that land. You know you want to. Come on. Sack it. Come on now. Come on now. You sack that land. Alright, we did it. I completely did not read my card. We actually did it through what I would consider probably the worst possible thing in the observable universe, too. Which is huge, so wow. Wow, wow, wow. Actually unbelievable. Actually unbelievable. We did it. We could play Audacity. Yeah, my opponent was just as confused as I was. We could play Audacity. I don't know if I want to play Audacity. I feel like that's weird. Same with Rancor. Rancor's not really that big of a deal. Oh, we don't have Rancor. What am I talking about? Also, for some unreasonable reason, every opponent's either like this blue counterspell deck or green ramp. It's been every opponent so far. There has not been anything but that. I am going to play my commander next turn. Yeah, especially the Veil of Summer up for all eternity. I think that's a good idea. Although it doesn't stop the real cards that are a problem, which are the blue card, red cards. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. Alright, so play this. Could have played Forceful Cultivator, actually. Could have just played Cultivator instead. Right, play the land first and then play Cultivator. Might have been the right thing to do. Yeah, it looks like a burn spell, which just ruins my entire everything. I am cracking this pre-combat. I'm always using this mana, so I should just do it now. But I do certainly lose to something, so they don't have that something. We now play this card, because I don't care if it gets countered, it does not. Alright, I wish I played it pre-combat, but I didn't. Could have swung for twice as much there. But it's hard to, I mean, I can't. Maybe I shouldn't play around anything, I don't know. Maybe that's just the right idea, just to ignore everything. Could have just played this. It's hard. Math is hard. Thinking is hard. Alright, there's the card we were somewhat dodging. We could have dodged it with this, but we didn't. Let's play... Mirror Shield? No, we should wait now. We should wait. Yeah, we should wait. Okay, because I can cast everything worth casting next turn. I might as well wait. Yep, might as well wait. No reason to play anything. I could just play this next turn and accomplishes the same thing. Just leave up Veil. There's no reason to play Grazer. And definitely don't want to play my land, so... Alright, their commander has prowess and haste, but I don't know if that really matters. Looks like it doesn't. Alright, we do technically have lethal, and my opponent only has blue mana, so this should be lights out. Yep. Alright, an unkillable mana source turn 1 is, excuse me, probably better than anywhere else. Do I play Provisioner? Provisioner maybe shouldn't be in this deck, actually. Maybe it just shouldn't be in here. I'm going to cast this because if my commander dies, it's kind of the same as, like, just playing another land for the turn, sort of. Just cast it again. I'm just going to do this. Provisioner probably shouldn't be in my deck. Now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, I can take this out. There's not a lot of ways for me to reliably get around this, but I have some. Okay, I would argue this is probably pretty huge here, so we'll do that now. Play this. Oh, I could have played this first. Whoops. Well, guess it's not technically too late. And I think I swing? Think I swing? Wow, they didn't block. Alright, they didn't block. Yeah, it gives prowess permanently. And haste as well. Okay, so we have lethal next turn. So my opponent's got to make a move now. It needs to be significant. That's not significant enough. In fact, the 1/1 has to swing. Which just dies to my Provisioner. Okay, never mind. We'll just take 6, 7... I don't know if they should have attacked here. That's not lethal. I feel like they wanted to keep this back because it was genuinely shutting this down. It stuck at 2 toughness. This has double strike. That's a bit odd. Definitely a bit odd. But we have super mega giga omega lethal here, and there's no 1-mana card in Mardu that can stop it, so. Oh, wait a minute. It's not lethal. 16 plus 3. Oh my goodness, it's not lethal. Chat. I messed up. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, they can't crack the fetch land. I am technically not dead on board. I thought that was going to be lethal. Wow. Could have been... No, there was nothing I could have done to change that either. So they have 5 mana. They do not have 6. And we're at an effective either 15 or 16. Could have made 1 food token and cast both of these and put myself at 17. Curse of Hospitality. Doesn't matter. Eight, 12. Wow. 8, 16. Wow. Alright. I thought I had lethal. I was one off. I thought I had lethal. Okay. Forsaken Monument is just now in the command zone, but you must have the scary thing out of hand, as opposed to the opposite, where big scary thing in command zone, Forsaken Monument in hand. Maybe these are wrong too, because by the time I've gotten to most of these, the game is already over. I don't know. Can I afford to play this instead of my commander? Probably. Yeah, probably. Especially in this matchup, I would argue. But we'll see. No, I don't care about getting it countered and I lose a land. Losing a land has no basis on my deck. But the untapped nature of it lets me cast it pre-combat, and then I can use the additional mana to, like, do anything else more intimidating. Okay, well, it looks like they're about to be down to 1 card, so unless it's like a crazy Eldrazi, we might be fine here. Let's play this, do that, and keep the reserved fetch land. So, if I don't draw a land next turn, I might have lethal. 2, 4, 6... No, 2, 4, 8, 16. We do not have lethal. There's no lethal. Alright, so they didn't play the 4/4, which makes sense. Desperation spells are certainly better in this prospect. Just a mana rock, no big deal. What does this do? Don't care. Alright, so I did draw a land. Unfortunate. Means no lethal. 2, 4, 8. No lethal. No lethal. So we try to send it next turn. Let's actually do math for once. I do not need to have more loyalty on this card, so I'm just going to swing for 3 and build it up for next turn. In fact, next turn, I might even just plus it, just to put a counter. I might not even care about the minus. Okay, don't care. They can cast their commander, give it protection from green, but that doesn't matter that much. Because it's only 6. Alright, Kaimil's only colorless. They get the 1 ring. That casts it too, doesn't it? Does that cast it? They have protection, right? They do. Alright, that was probably the only card in the game that saved them. So now we can't kill them? Does that change anything? Not that much. I guess I just draw 2. Don't care about that. Let's play this. Should probably cast one of these here. probably this one. It is power that just exists in play, so I'll cast it. Otherwise, I'm going to be a bit stuck on too many cards in hand and not be able to cast them. But yeah, the One Ring was probably the best possible draw there. In fact, I think it was the only possible draw that let them stay alive. I don't think there's any other colorless card that matters. Swinging is scary. You might not want to swing. Oh, no, we're sending it. Sure. Could have cracked it in response. Don't think it matters. I mean, if I crack it in response, I'm less likely to draw a land. Yeah, it does. That's two. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Also doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And... oh, sure. Nope, nope, nope. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Nope. And... doesn't matter. Alright. Nice colorless cards. Should probably just mill. Okay, you can draw that then. Free spell is Torpor Orb. Creatures entering, I mean, that doesn't do anything. Okay. So, taps for colorless, can't crack it. Let's play... oh, wait, whoa. Let's do this first. And we win. Ooh, I should have plussed the Aether Spark first. Could have added more damage. Always pay attention to that. 20... yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But just a good habit that I did not do. Now I don't have to, but... what's giving him +1/+1? Actually, don't know. It's Blex. I think I get rid of brokers unless I bank on another land. Might be a good idea. I don't know how important this is. Yeah, we're gonna crack the brokers. We're cracking the brokers here. Feels bad, but... I don't... Ultima doesn't have to attack for any reason at all. It just doubles mana. Who cares about the attack trigger? The attack trigger doesn't matter at all. Unless I'm not understanding something. It's completely irrelevant. I am not the deck, nor am I interested to play around anything, so... Okay. Okay. This is the second Blex player I've ever seen. We keep 2 cards, sure. Sure. Looks like we have Mock Spaghetti. No, we keep our commander in the graveyard. Okay. So, probably Oracle. Do I have lethal? Dang it. Alright, so 6. No, wait. 4. 5. 4, 5. 10. We have lethal, chat. Chat, we have lethal. We have lethal. We have lethal. What do I know? Land here is ideal. What are we playing against? Oh, Junko. Of course, no land. Definitely adds up. Alright, well. I think I actually pulled an Ultima. I think we have one. I think they work well in each other's deck. I don't think one is particularly better than the other in terms of who's in what. They just go into each other's deck. So we play this. Play that. Can't swing. Four. Does that change anything? Not really. I'm kind of screwed here, actually. Kind of screwed. That's not a bird, is it? Okay, that doesn't work. We got saved. Bart's didn't do anything. Actually huge. So, counter... We have to play a land first, which is really ugly. But I have to do that. And then counter, so it goes to 3. Ugh, still kind of ugly. Hold control. Let that one resolve. Cast this. Counter. Kill that. Maybe that didn't actually do much. I don't know. Yeah, that didn't feel too useful. Hosed my opponent's board though, and I can recast my commander, so probably should have swung with a 2-3. It's also a bit of a mistake. Do I keep this up? No, I just sling. Alright, birds, what do you got? What do you got, birds? What do you got? Apparently a 1 mana blue spell. Actually annoying. Is this an instant? No. I don't know what the blue card is. If it's an unsummon, we're kind of screwed. Don't think I have many things I can do to stop that. It is lethal without casting Omen, which is ideal. We did it! I don't know what the 1 mana card was. Swan Song could have countered the Rampant Growth, I guess. Which we could have beaten, because we had a second Rampant Growth that we did not need for lethal, so there was no counterspell that was possible. And it wasn't Solitude. It could have been Subtlety. I would argue maybe the most likely card it was Subtlety, because it couldn't have interacted with me at all, and they didn't Solitude, they didn't Endurance. 1 blue, it wasn't an unsummon, which would have just ended the game, so they didn't cast it. So yeah, it was probably Endurance or Subtlety, and they did not... There's not a lot of reasons to play Endurance, so it's probably Subtlety. Okay, alright. So this was phenomenal. I put this together rather quickly. I didn't expect it to be that good, but it was. I don't know if this is right. This is assuming you've played a game that takes so long that you get to cast this and also equip it, and at that point, is this better than just casting Primeval Titan? It could be Entish Rejuvenation or Entish Restoration, whatever it's called, the other Harrow. I ended up taking out Primeval Titan for Harrow because this is useful when it matters. Primeval Titan is useful when it probably doesn't matter anymore. So this is definitely an all-in hyper aggro deck, it feels like. Protection spells are a bit annoying to leave up, even in green. Actually, you know what? I think Mox, all the Mox should have been in here. Mox Amber, Mox, Chrome Mox. The Moxen should have been in here. At least Mox Amber. But again, I didn't put a ton of thought into a lot of it. It was like, I think about 20 cards or so of this deck were... I had about 20 remaining slots when I had finished making this. And I'm like, alright, what do I do? You know, like all the protection spells, equipment that makes sense, ramp spells that make sense. Now what do I do? So there was like 20 or so slots, and I found a lot of reasonable cards before I got to the colorless section of browsing the entirety of the collection. But these two are perfectly reasonable. Chromox is a bit weird because you lose a card to cast this, and it's hard to do that sometimes, right? Especially with an all-in aggro deck that wants to go tall with one creature really quickly, sort of like Bristly Bill, arguably faster than Bristly Bill. I completely dominated Bristly Bill, except one game where they were on the play, had Bristly Bill, perfect fetch land, ramp spell into a fight effect to kill Tifa with Bristly Bill, which in my head is kind of the expected outcome, which is why I was saying Bristly Bill is probably better. However, all the other Bristly Bill players, for some reason, half my games were against it, I completely just destroyed them. So maybe it's just swingy, you know? If they don't have it, they just lose, right? Whereas if we're both staring at each other for a long time, this becomes scarier, even though it's scary all at once. Bristly Bill takes its time and is scary in the intermediate turns, you know, all the turns that take place before someone's dead. This is only scary on the turn your opponent's dead, but it gets to that turn faster. So it is definitely different. They both probably exist in each other's deck. So if you're playing against Bristly Bill, expect to see this in your opponent's deck. If you're playing against this, expect to see this. Wouldn't really surprise me. But yeah, this is really steep. I think there was a single game where I did actually cast it though, and it was super lethal. Obviously, I swung for like 52 without needing 3 or 4 land drops. I just needed 1 land, and then all of a sudden I have 20 life. It gets +20/+20, and then I play a land, and it's a 40/40. So another issue with this card is if your life total is too low by the time you get to it, it's kind of yeah. I'm just not sold on it. I think Mox Amber is just objectively better in every conceivable way, but Chrome Mox is debatable. Definitely debatable. The amount of lands you play is also something to consider. You probably play less lands than Bristly Bill, but more lands than, like, less than Bristly Bill Azusa, more than other generic middle of the ground, middle of the pack, like whatever Finn, the 1/3 poisonous death touch thing. Probably more lands than that mid-range beatdown scary 2-drop green aggro thing, but less than the other mid-range 2-drop aggro thing. That's Bristly Bill. So somewhere in the middle. Protection spells felt excellent. If you ever scape shift, it's basically always lethal, I would argue, which is actually funny because it's not always lethal with something like Mythweaver Pock. That doesn't necessarily win with scape shift. You can still beat that. But here, if your opponent doesn't kill this, they just die. So that's pretty nice. 1/1 counters with like Hardened Scales, the other Hardened Scales that's new, that's better than Hardened Scales, and then the other 5 Hardened Scales effects. They're all right, but they're slower, and at that point, you probably should just play Bristly Bill in the command zone instead, because this actually does the 1/1 counter thing. It's the same argument with creature tokens. You can have a cool token commander, but it doesn't do anything. Well, it does, but it doesn't do its thing too well unless it itself cares about creating the tokens, right? Rizza Redeemed is a very slow version of this. Elspeth is a bit more reasonable, but the dogs and cats commander we played earlier, it's great to have token doublers, but it itself doesn't create the tokens. So you have to also have tokens. That's the problem here. If you have a bunch of 1/1 counter enablers that double 1/1 counters or give you way more 1/1 counters than you're supposed to have, like Hardened Scales, you also need cards that give you 1/1 counters. Because this doesn't actually do it itself, like Bristly Bill. So I don't really like going down that route. There were some cards in here that do give 1/1 counters, right? Like Aether Spark, technically. And I think that Hydra, Mossborn Hydra. There's a Mossborn Hydra that's an aura that like doubles the counters every turn. You could play that. It's incredibly slow to me, and I don't think we're trying to play a slow game. So I don't really like that. Or a game where that card is paced at, which isn't necessarily slow, but I don't think it's fast enough, is maybe a best way to put it. The 4-drops, I don't know if you could get away with a 1/2/3 deck. The Explosive Vegetations are very useful here. They are very useful. This is another Rampant Growth. It's kind of in the middle, but Flare of Cultivation, I didn't get to sack a lot of things, but I think whenever I try to go for lethal, it's pretty easy to simply sacrifice a Mana Dork, and there's plenty of those in here. You can't sacrifice this, you just lose the game. So I think this is still correct. Yeah. A first striking creature, someone in chat saying first strike just annihilates you because this doesn't double its toughness. And that's true. There was a Death Touch double strike Mardu Lizard Commander player, I can't remember the name of it, which just is a 3-mana double striker. Kills my commander, but that one doesn't kill it in first strike damage. So I would get my trample damage unless they made it larger. So if there's ever a bunch of first strike in the way, like Thalia just thinks this is the worst thing ever. Because Thalia is a 2/1 first strike. There's plenty of ways to give this more toughness. If that is a serious issue you're bumping into, I guess you could try to like remedy it, but I don't think worrying about first strike spam is a major concern. I think first strike spam is far less common than removal, and removal is something you really want to play around, right, with all your protection spells and whatnot. So I would say first strike is not really a valid concern. I don't think it is a valid concern. No. It also has to be 2 or more first strike. 1 in first strike is not enough. It has to be 2. And you can just like giant growth, and then that doesn't matter. So you can also... No, it always has to involve toughness. It does. I was going to say you can also just kill the creature, but... Again, Bristly Bill, far more efficient, far more effective at actually killing creatures with your bites and your fights. So you don't really want to run bites and fights. You just want to one-shot your opponent. If you have thousands of comical, but if you have like 256 damage coming to your opponent's way and trample, you don't really need to fight anything. You're probably going to kill your opponent through 5 creatures with 256 damage. It's kind of like Crater Hoof, but instead of creature counts, it's land counts. So, can recommend is actually really, really interesting commander. It's not like Finn. It's not quite like Bristly Bill. And I don't know if it's better than Bill. It feels like it is. I did lose one game, but I won the others. I just have to play more of it, so I don't know. But there's so many commanders in this set. I'm going to be busy for a while. But this is a cool one to start with. I must admit, this is a cool one to start with. I randomly picked one that I thought would be kind of simple and straightforward, and it gave me a really unique play experience. So can recommend. Let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.